Harry strode down the road, his heart singing with a happiness he hadn't felt in months. His latest novel had ascended to the pantheon of New York Times bestsellers, his fifth book to do so. But oh, the adulation that accompanied with such acclaim. It was a double-edged sword. For with the adoration of the masses came the pestilence of rabid fans, tearing at his peace like feral dogs. Harry couldn't escape them, no matter where he went. Couldn't so much as eat a meal without being set upon for autographs or selfies. Yuck! But Harry's woes did not end there. He wrote of machismo, of strength and aggression, and thus most gyms were off limits to him. They were hotbeds of fan worship, where his presence was detected by the scent of adoration and the rush of frenzied followers. He craved a sanctuary where he could work out in peace, but it seemed an unattainable dream until today. Today, Harry felt the hand of fate upon his shoulder. He had chanced upon a gym that promised solitude, the equipment old but functional, the promise of respite from the madding crowd, too good to resist. He donned his headphones, let the Nordic metal scream into his ears, and entered the chamber of iron. At first, it seemed he'd found what he sought. The few people present ignored him, continued their routines as though he were not there. But then he saw them, the two men who had been doing bicep curls, their eyes upon him. One of them rose, motioning to his companion, and began to approach Harry, who had made his way to the pull-up bars. His muscles taut, his grip firm, he began his ascent, each rep bringing him closer to the desired state of physical perfection. The man stared at Harry, his skin turned a sickly grey hue, his eyes white as bone, his mouth opened wider than seemed possible, and a cry emerged that was a nightmare come to life. But Harry, completely oblivious to the ghastly spectre, continued his routine, lost in the rhythmic repetition of his exercises. The man, his features twisted into a mask of confusion, cast a questioning gaze at his companion, who in turn shrugged his shoulders in response. Without another word, the friend rose from his bench and started walking, his steps measured and deliberate in their approach towards Harry. As he faced him, his eyes turned black, his skin grew pallid, and he let out a scream that brought an icy blast to the room. Who turned the air conditioning so low here? Harry wondered aloud, perplexed by the sudden drop in temperature. He approached the dial that controlled the air conditioning, adjusted it to his liking, and exclaimed, "Old junk," and then resumed his exercise. The two poltergeists exchanged a glance. Clearly, their attempts to spook Harry had been unsuccessful, and their frustration was palpable. They floated towards each other, whispering furiously in their ghostly tongues, trying to come up with a new plan to torment their unwitting victim. Harry took a deep breath and began his squats, the weight of the barbell heavy on his shoulders. To the poltergeists, it seemed as if he was taunting them. Their patience had run low. Their frustration was at an all-time high. And now they realized there was no other option left. And so without warning, their hands grabbed at Harry's ankles, wrenching him free from his exercise. Harry's heart raced as he looked down, only to see thin air clutching at his legs. It was then that he realized the true nature of the terror that had descended upon him. "Ghosts!" he screamed at the top of his lungs, flailing helplessly in the air, while the two malevolent spirits chuckled in glee.